Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on in the afternoon shopping and talk a little bit about some of the numbers that are being used for illegal immigration and border security, because several of you have had really awesome questions about whether or not the numbers that different politicians use, including the president, are reliable. And this is a great question. And in general, I think it's really important to have a healthy dose of skepticism when it comes to the way that politicians are using numbers, because it's human nature that we're all going to use numbers in ways that best serve us, right? So that's what's happening now for this argument over border security. But everyone tends to use the same source for data, and that's U.S. Border Patrol. And that's actually what SmartHER News, that's what we use as well, because these are the sole numbers when it comes to border apprehensions that are used sort of across the board by the media in general and also by different politicians. And you can say, well, can we trust U.S. Border Patrol? I think you can trust U.S. Border Patrol. I'm just going to say, I think we can trust them. We can't necessarily fact check all of their data. That's true. But you get in a very slippery slope when you start talking about not being able to trust anything that the government puts out there. You know, if we can't trust Border Patrol, can we trust the FBI? Can we trust our unemployment rate? Can we trust GDP? Some people will say, no, we can't trust any of that. But then what data do you use? So it may not be perfect, but the data that we use when it comes to illegal immigration comes from U.S. Border Patrol. And it's really accessible to the public. And I know you likely don't have time to look through it, so I just want to show you a little bit about where the information's coming from and hopefully provide some links if you're, later in the day you just want to check out, well, what are some of these patterns? What do you think, what does it really look like at the U.S. southern border? So if you just go to customsborderpatrol.com, you're going to get to this data. And so the first thing I want to show you, because this is really what when we're talking about border security now and the top priorities, we're really talking about a government that's focused on family apprehensions. So these are individuals coming across the border with a child that may or may not be their direct daughter or son, but that's a family unit. And that's been one of the major concerns when it comes to illegal immigration that's been put forward by both parties, because clearly it's an issue for both parties. So let me just show you. I'm going to turn this around. We're going to do it very elementary, but I think it's going to work. So hold on one second. So this is U.S. Border Patrol Southwest Border Apprehensions by sector. See, it even breaks it down by sector. The first thing that we're looking at is unaccompanied alien children by sector. That's illegal immigrant children. And the second thing we're going to look at is family unit apprehensions by sector. And what we're looking at here is just the years 2017 and 2018. So here's the deal with unaccompanied children. And again, that goes from age 0 to age 17. I want you to take a look. These are the percentage change year over year from 2017 to 2018. There's only one place, that's Del Rio, where it went down. But everywhere else, it stayed flat or it went up significantly. Look at 89% in Yuma, Arizona. I'm going to tell you about Yuma in a second. Let's go over here to family unit apprehensions. A little bit different. You have some areas where it actually went down year over year, but you have other areas where it went up more than 140%. And look at that. It's actually in Tucson and in Yuma. So why is this important? If you look year over year for unaccompanied children, it's up 20%. If you look for family apprehensions year over year, it's up 42%. Now, here's a way that the numbers can get used by both sides. You saw what's going on in Yuma. Family apprehensions up 140%. Children apprehensions up almost 90%. What's interesting about Yuma is one place where there is a barrier, a wall. Different types of barriers are being used in Yuma. And so Republicans will say, see, there's a reason why we need a wall, except there's one there. Or here's a reason. And the reason is, look at how successful we are with apprehensions. We're successful with those apprehensions because there's a wall. That's the reason why those numbers are up. The wall helps us in other areas we're not even catching people. And then Democrats will say, you look at that number. It shows the walls are ineffective. They don't work. And both arguments probably have something to stand on, right? But in that area, you see apprehensions are really high. Are they high because Border Patrol has more time to apprehend people because the barriers slow them down? Or is the wall totally ineffective? And this is a really popular place to cross. Probably have to talk to Border Patrol about that. So there's a way that that number, like, what does it really tell us? I don't know what it tells us about the wall. In the meantime, I want to show you something else. This is Southwest border migration. And this is a really important, this is a graph that's going to show us what Southwest border migration has looked like over the last several years. And the president, we talked about this morning, the president said, you know, there's approximately 60,000 people on average that are crossing the southern border illegally. Well, where is he getting that number? I knew that number, the ballpark, was likely right because of the past numbers that we've seen over the last several months, which have been easily in the 50,000 category. So here's what the president is quoting. Let me show you. Here's what this is. This is the graph. And you can't see it, it's so small, I'm sorry. But each year starts in October. It's sort of like a financial year. It goes from October to September. So we're already in the full year 2019. And you can see in October and November, the number was 60,000. So the president took those numbers, averaged them together, and said it's 60,000. Now, if you look, I really encourage you to check out this page because it can show you the differences year over year. And you might see, well, hey, it's, you know, these numbers are not that off. They're not that different compared to year over year. They're mainly in the same ballpark, but here's one area they're not. Here's another, this is again looking at Southwest border apprehensions. You're seeing unaccompanied children, you're seeing family units, you're seeing totals. Keep this number in your mind, 25,000, okay? 25,000 family units were apprehended in November. So I can go over here and check out what happened in 2018. Clearly, I need to back up my computer. And in 2018, you want to know how many family units were apprehended? 7,000 in November. So it's tripled in over a year. This is the sort of growth year over year that the administration is worried about. But then, let's go to 2017. 2017 is going to show you, wait a minute, there were 15,000 family units apprehended. So 25,000, 15,000, is it really that much of a difference? Is the growth really there? That's a matter of opinion, you know, and that's where the Democrats could say, well, we're, you know, off by 10,000, but I mean, this isn't an emergency. This is more or less the ballpark of what we're seeing when it comes to family units illegally crossing the border. And if you're a Republican, you can say, well, see, it's tripled in the last year. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about where these numbers are coming from and how we source these apprehensions. Again, apprehensions are a tricky number because it's the people that Border Patrol has apprehended. It doesn't necessarily estimate, well, how many did they not apprehend? And there's different studies on that. And recently there was a study that came out of Yale where some professors looked at the data in a different way and felt that our estimates were very low when it came to illegal immigration. But they're all just estimates. So I just want to give you a little bit of a cheat sheet, numbers, how they're being used. You can see again the percentages year over year are up. You can also, if you take a closer look at some of the charts, see where policy gets put in place. You can see where the president takes office, talking very, strongly about immigration, for example. You see that apprehensions go down. Illegal border crossing essentially goes down. One would think that's what it signals. You can see in other areas where it goes back up, and you can see, well, does that correspond with where the president was told that you can't separate children? You know, and you see a kind of a jump because that's when policy changed. Can you see a jump when President Obama was talking about DACA? So you can see that with those numbers. I'm not going to get too deep into that because, you know, there's also a whole bunch of variables. You know, these numbers month to month can be affected by things like weather. I mean, you know, or conditions for crossing. So anyhow, is it a perfect system? No. But this is what Border Patrol supplies, and I think it's worth just taking a look at, and it's just sort of getting a sense of how, you know, what are the numbers that we're talking about. Just to give you an idea, let me just go back to the full year because what we have for 2018 is the full year. You know, we have total border apprehensions at 520,000 plus. And that's a jump from 2017. You have to remember the president's been in office about 2 years. These are the years that he's focused on. And so what they're focused on is the increase in these immediate 2 years. So that's what's going on. If you have any questions about the numbers or want us to take a look deeper into some of them, I'm happy to. Like I said, it's not a perfect system. It's the system that we have. And so I want you to feel in control of the numbers. And I know a lot, there's so much out there where the Democrats' response already to President Trump is, well, he's just going to lie. And the Republicans can say that about the Democrats. Well, they're just going to lie. They're just not even telling you the truth. And then you're left at the end of the day like, well, what is the truth, And I know that's difficult. And it's one of the things that we're trying to solve at SmartHER News is just to give you a little peek behind the numbers, because I guarantee it, if you look at some of them, you will instantly have an opinion about what's happening at the southern border. And it will have nothing to do with people are yelling in your ears, just going to be by looking at the graphs. And if you think I'm saying, oh, you're going to lean one way or the next, I'm not. Because you can read a lot into these numbers, and they can, they can probably support your feelings already, but I think they'll be interesting for you. So I'll make sure to add a link, so check that out. And thanks so much. Keep the questions coming, okay? Bye, guys.